started his career more as a polemicist, a thinker, than as an architect, partly because his design ideas were so radical it was hard for him to find clients who would take the risk of building something that he had in mind. But with every project, he goes to the very roots of the idea. What is a library? What is a shop? What is an office building? Why does it have to be this way? Why can't it be that way? And he's also a star because the buildings that he has done have all been so unique and interesting in their way.
Rem Koolhaas it's very exciting to work with him. He's an incredibly energetic man. He challenges your ideas and he forces you to think out of the box, and you always find yourself performing a lot better than you ever thought you would with him.
And this is one of his latest projects. Hi, I'm Anjali Rao in Seoul. Join me as Koolhaas takes us on a tour of the city and some of his creations. This is Talk Asia. Rem, welcome to the show. We're sitting outside the Transformer, which you designed to act as a space for different sorts of events. Just talk me through how it works.
Prada asked us to design a facility for 4 different events, and initially we tried to combine it in one kind of more or less flexible entity, but it didn't work because there are contradictory demands. A theatre needs to be rectangular, a fashion show benefits from being round, for instance. So rather than do a single flexible entity, we thought of the idea that we would make a situation where we design a particular plan, a very specific plan for each of the events, and combine it in a single, almost pyramid-like structure. And if any of the events is activated, you turn the entire structure so that the plan becomes a ground floor. And then if you need another event, you again turn the structure so that the other plan becomes the ground floor.
You've collaborated with Prada also on a number of stores. Fashion designers, though, are known for being feisty and very, very detail-oriented. Do you ever butt heads?
Not so far, never. And I think it is partly because both Prada and Bertelli are extremely direct in terms of communicating what they like and what they don't like. And in an intelligent client, that is actually extremely pleasant because it clarifies very easily what you can do and what you need to do.
I understand that your plan to develop the Dubai waterfront city has now been put on ice because of the whole global economic situation. How greatly have you felt the impact from this whole financial mess?
Definitely, there were a number of projects that we worked on put on hold. But on the other hand, certain things were also accelerated because the price of construction is getting so cheap that it becomes very advantageous to build. And also what we have noticed is that a kind of result partly probably of all the stimulus plans has been that the return of the public sector, and I think for architecture in general, I think that is a very positive thing because it means kind of probably smaller but more complex and more interesting things kind of related not necessarily with commerce but more connected to culture and to the social world.
Time magazine has listed you as one of its world's most influential people. Do you think that you are in a position to be world-changing in some way?
I think that this is a very kind of bizarre profession, because even if you're, a kind of normal person, which to some extent I am, and even if you know what modesty is, which I also do know, it would be almost a deficiency if you were not in some ways confident that the things you propose change things in a positive direction. So you have to be at the same time, that ambitious, and be at the same time able to relativize that ambition. So it's a kind of complex mixture.
What do you think then about this new breed of architect, the Starchitect, that are so famous now that they're celebrities, and you're one of them allegedly?
Well, I've been kind of on record as being deeply unhappy and deeply uncomfortable about that kind of situation, because I think every name describes a content, and the content of Star Architect compared to the content of Architect is unbelievably limited. Nobody thinks that a star has good intentions. A star walks over you. A star is indifferent to what people think. My hope is that also through the current complexity, that title will exit discreetly and disappear.
Let's just talk a little bit about your concept for the generic city, which has gotten a lot of press and a lot of attention because it is quite controversial. It sort of dictates that cities should have repetitive, utilitarian looks about them for global citizens, which doesn't automatically sound that appealing.
No. I've never written an article that contained the word should, and I think that's very important. Everyone is always moaning about everything becoming the same. Yet many things are becoming the same. So the simple question underlying that article was, what if you don't complain about it, but what if you embrace it? For instance, does it have any virtues, this kind of becoming more the same? Or is there a reason behind it? And that was perhaps maybe the most critical question. Simply, is there a reason behind this kind of sameness? And I began to believe that yes, there is, because somehow it makes less demands of people. Yeah? And I think what we are moving to in many different conditions is a much lighter way of organizing the interaction between objects and people.
Would you want to live in the generic city?
I think to some extent we all do. We all use airports, we all do use motorways, we all use fast food, so it's inevitable.
Inside a Beijing icon, we discuss the inspiration behind Koolhaas's CCTV tower.